Hi guys, welcome to the new Byte Some Pie video. I'm going to be covering a section I'm wanting to start stumbling upon is deving on a budget. Now we all know the solo devs have to balance normally their work, their education, um, time for development, any form of social life you can muster in between all the craziness of the um, chasing your dream of being a game developer. Now, another thing that really gets corroded is your finances. One way, hopefully, we can try and mitigate this is using Git, but using it properly. There's been a lot of reviews and statements on the Unreal forums stating that if you use Git repositories, then what's going to happen is if you use Dropbox for synchronization, then it destroys everything. Oh my god, it's a nightmare. So no. If you use your local repository on Dropbox, it's going to break. So what we need to do is we need to make a bare repository. Um, the bare repository is what you connect back to on GitHub and GitLab. It's a repository that has no local reference. It is just basically storing the data. So what we do is the idea is we create a bare repository on a shared Dropbox folder. And then any of your team can access that shared Dropbox folder and update straight away. Now the glory with having the gloriousness of having the bare repository is that multiple people can update it simultaneously. It doesn't lock out. So the commits come in, they'll be stored and they'll be organized by time. So even if I'm committing something that's huge and somebody else has made a commit and it's tiny and they've done it halfway in between mine, it'll go into order and it'll sort itself out and it'll just be an effortless process. So I'm just going to talk you through how to set this up. I'll put the links and the commands in the window at the description of the YouTube channel. First of all, we need to know the user account we're using. Now, normally on Windows, you'll see the C user and then your username. If you don't have that, you're unsure and you want to double check, type in who am I, and then it will bring back either your local computer name or the domain if you're logging into, depending on how you're accessing the system. So yes, indeed, my name is Simon. So what we want to do is, first things first, you need to download an application called SourceTree. If you don't know how to use Git, it doesn't really matter. This application will take you through it. It's free. Just double check if you're using it for enterprise that any licenses that you may be required or user restrictions. I don't believe there is, but please double check it because this can change at any time. This application will manage the Git system itself. It'll manage the commands for pushing, pulling, fetching, merging, creating branches, everything along those lines. But what it does do, which is very nice, is it allows you to have a native Git client. So it installs Git that it uses and nobody else really uses, which is quite good. So it works perfectly in line with the application with no customization. So first thing we want to do, I've made a folder on my Dropbox just down here, and we've called it Dropbox example Git. So I'm going to make a bare repository. Okay. Now you can add a bare repository as a local. It has to be a remote. It will not accept being added as a local repository. So this is the location that the Git client is installed to when it comes down with Atlassian. The command we want to type is init space --bare. This is going to initialize a bare repository, and we want to put it to Dropbox example Git. So as soon as I press enter, we'll see the Git repository being created on the bottom of the page just here in this window. Okay, boom. So this is the bare repository that's been created. Now, what we want to do is we want to now create a new repository. So let's bring open, this is SourceTree. So I would like to create a repository, destination path. I'm going to make it desktop my project, which is the folder we see down the bottom there. Double check that exists, that is fine. My project is the name, so just double check everything's cool. So this is the folder, this is the path, all matches up. It's going to ask us that the repository already exists. We agree that that's absolutely fine, yes. I must stress just now, do not do this in a folder where you already have data, as it will or could wipe the data you have already in the folder. Always work with another folder to create the repository. Just because I don't want you guys to lose any data. So always create a new folder, and what I normally do is I migrate the data, just copy everything and move it into the new location. It works out generally quite well. So we have our Git here. Now any files that we now create in here, create a couple of text documents, they should show up. Got a couple of text documents just appeared here, which is perfect. But if I commit just now, that only commits locally, which is no good. So what I need to do is I go to settings, and then we set up the remote. Right, so the remote name, this was the Dropbox example Git, and you always use for the remote name default remote. Right, just if you only have one remote, just keep it simple, and it means you only have to worry about origin and master. So press OK. OK. And now stage all. And since they're staged, we can then just go to initial stage, tick the box to push changes immediately to master, commit, it will prompt the first time. Oh, it didn't. Awesome. So if I close out of this now, right, see we have both master and origin master. So this is where we're currently at. Origin is where the remote is, so the one on Dropbox. So if one of your team was to have done an update, hit the fetch button. It's going to check if somebody else has updated it and tell you how many patches to download. Play about with this. Learn how to use it. There's loads of guides on the internet on how to use this application itself. But it's going to save you money, it's going to save you time. If you already have storage available that's accessible for your team, this is going to mean that you don't have to go down the route of paying a monthly subscription for something you could very well run out of time with, run out of space with, such as your GitHub repo size. This will have an unlimited repo size, but I would advise to try to keep your repos as small as possible, and possibly create new repos once you get past a certain stage. Just go through the whole process once more once you get to like 50 gigabytes, 20 gigabytes, whatever you deem as a good fallback, and then you can progress from there. But this means you can roll back quickly, and you can also align your entire team in working. So sorry if we waffled on a wee bit, just thought I'd like to test the waters, see what people thought. If you like this idea, give it a like, leave some comments in the channel, and I'll try and proceed with other ways to make game deving more affordable for all of us. Okay guys, speak to you later. Thanks very much for your time. Ciao.